Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is Season 2, Episode 2. Does God keep me from manifesting what I want? God/universe. So I've got a couple of disclaimers before I do this show and a little bit of background about me so that you understand where I'm coming from and where my information actually has formulated. One thing I want to share, I was on Facebook today and I think what we need to do and what would be really good for all of us to do is just to love and accept one another and to understand that we have a set of beliefs that has been, formulated along our life experience. We learn things from religion, we learn things from our parents, we learn things along the way. Oftentimes we reject things because they don't align with the beliefs that we have been taught over time. Much of what we believe is actually dogma. It's just we take things and we believe them, and so we see evidence of them. That's the science of creating, right? As we believe, so we create. So because of that, oftentimes I believe, these are my beliefs, and this show is very much just what has come through me. And to be totally honest and truthful with all of you, none of us really knows what's true, right? We judge truth on, we create our truths based on how we feel and what we experience in life. So if our beliefs are what creates, then our beliefs are subject to change, right? Our beliefs are subject to speculation, to perspective, to judgment, to all the things that our life experience starts to show us as we expand and grow. So on Facebook, I was going back and forth with this gentleman, and he just kept trying to put me in a little box, and I felt like he was trying to set me up, quite honestly. And I knew when I picked the title does God/universe keep me from manifesting what I want? I'm always very careful to use the word God. And the reason why is because growing up, the God for me was a judgmental God. It was a God who was judging me, a God who was going to punish me if I did wrong things. Moving into being Catholic as I got older, we had to confess our sins. We had to be very careful about what we did. And God was very separate. God was a separate being from me. And because of that, I would often find myself in prayer, begging God for help, begging God and wondering how God was playing puppet with my life, how God would grant me some things and not other things. And it just was a very powerless way to live. So that's when I started really seeking. That's when I really started questioning and researching and, diving into universal law. And for a time, I had a hard time connecting with God because I got super into the science of creating and realizing the power of my thoughts, the power of my beliefs, and recognizing that I had the ability to actually formulate my own life based on what I was thinking and believing about myself, about the world, about how I created within it. So moving through that, I started to seek that spiritual wisdom once again. And a lot of it came from doing energy sessions with people. I've always been a meditator, so I do have that very solid connection with higher consciousness. But it wasn't until I started inviting back in spirituality that I started to really connect in a deeper way. When I was just that baby in universal law, that coming up into universal law, I was definitely subject to a lot of surface manifesting, which means surface living, where I wanted to be rich. I wanted to have money. I wanted cars. I wanted a house. I wanted nice things. And the spiritual aspect of it was really, really lacking. I didn't know why I wanted those things. I wanted to feel better about our finances. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel secure. And I didn't really pay attention to the deeper meaning in what I was looking to manifest. So when it comes to your manifestations, asking yourself why do you want those things? Most of us want lots and lots of money because we want freedom, and money does equal freedom for sure for some, but not for everyone, right? Like I've shared before, I know lots of millionaires who don't feel free. They feel very imprisoned by their money and scared of losing it. So if we really truly want to feel freedom, does it have to come with money? Can it only come from having lots of money? So, freedom, abundance, all of that comes. That's an energy alignment that we start to conduct from, but it doesn't necessarily equate money. So I'm going to launch a little abundance challenge, a 21-day abundance challenge. And this actually came on the heels. I'm doing another challenge with another group, and it's actually formulated through Deepak Chopra. And I just decided that I wanted to do my own thing with it. I really want to do my own meditations, do my own daily activities, and really dive deep into what's coming through for me. So that launches this Wednesday, which is March. I don't know what day it is. March 22nd, 3rd, March 23rd. Hold on. March 23rd. I don't know what day it is, people. I don't ever know what day it is. March 22nd, we're launching this. So if you want to be a part of that, email me at livelifegolden@gmail.com, and I will get you into the group. You just have to download WhatsApp, and we're going to run the group through WhatsApp. So it's going to be a short guided meditation and a little tiny activity every day. And if you don't do it, that day you'll be removed from the group. So this is accountability, and you'll have to say that you did it. This is a totally free challenge right now. As I build this, I'm probably going to run it again, and there'll be a small charge just for my time and just for the exchange of energy and have a little skin in the game. All right, so let's dive deep into this spiritual conversation about God and manifesting. Whatever the God was for you growing up, if it feels better to call it universe or source, definitely shift it, because the truth is we need to expand. We need to expand and we need to grow. And that was my challenge with my conversation on Facebook today, is people who get so locked into their beliefs. And the funniest thing about it, which just cracks me up, is like, how do we know? You have these people who are like shouting this stuff from the rooftops and pushing it down people's throat. Please don't do that. Please, like, even, whatever you believe, you're not doing anybody any favors by doing that. I just believe that we live in a collective energy. I believe we are all one, and that we can give each other that open receiving when we're not so locked into belief systems that we really, the only evidence we have is like, because we believe it, we see evidence of it, right? But going back to biblical times, going back to the times of Jesus, I don't have any real tangible evidence of any of that. So I'm very careful about what I say about those things. Oftentimes I don't even touch those things because I don't want to. I'm not married to anything. Let's put it that way. I don't, I have a belief system. I believe in the science. I believe in universal law. I believe, this is my beliefs, and you do not have to take this on, that we are all an expression, that we are an expression of this universal intelligence that has been named God. And because of that, because we are an expression of it, God is experiencing life through us, the physical, tangible life through us. So as we have desires, as these desires are put on our heart, we absolutely have what we need to manifest that, because we are an expression of all that is. Now, the part that gets tricky about manifesting, and is this right for me? I think the saying is, if it's God's will, it will be done, right? Or I hear people say that all the time, like, God willing, and it's like, I just don't think it's as finite as that. I really believe that in order for us to express and manifest, we first have to connect with the energy of it. So we have to connect with that why. Why do I want to manifest this? Why do I want to become abundant? Why do I want to be free? And then we take it to another level of fruition by, setting our intentions. Like, our intentions are that action. Our intention is that prayer, so to speak. We're not necessarily asking, We're not necessarily like victims who have to ask. We are a co-creator in this process. So our intention is in that partnership. Our intention is making it known to the all that is what we are looking to manifest. And oftentimes it doesn't come the way we thought it was going to come. Oftentimes it's much better than we thought it was going to be. Whenever you see things like coming into place or not working out or not coming into place, that's when you have to start letting go and allowing to receive the energy of what you're looking to create, because we have limitations. As human beings, we have really big limitations around what we think we can create and what we actually think that it will be co-created with us. We have these massive limitations. So in order for us to really open ourselves up, open to receiving, open to new information, open to new beliefs, we have to let go of that lack and limitation that we've been taught for so long. We also have to let go of the hard lines. Like, I'm at this point in my life where I'm just like, why would we have such hard lines? Why, if we're believing something that doesn't align with what we want to create, why would we continue to be that way? Why would we continue to suffer and place ourselves in misery and keep ourselves from what we've actually decided that we want? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. So intention is first. We want to create that intention. So let's see, I went through my background a little bit. I want to take the science of quantum physics first, and then I'm going to connect the science and the spirituality and how that formulates what you're looking to manifest. So the science of creating is basically like we have this unified field, right? Like we have this field of energy all around us. That field of energy is being signaled by us, by how we feel about ourselves, by how we feel about life, by what we believe can happen, by the limitations that we put on things, by the religion that we grew up in, whatever it is, we have this field all around us. And everyone and everything that comes into your field has had some sort of signal from you to enter that quantum field of energy. Your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, they're all going out. And fortunately, all your thoughts don't manifest, but your feelings are energy in motion. Your beliefs are even stronger than that. So as they come out, they create a wave, and that wave becomes energy, and that wave starts to break down into particles and becomes physical matter. Now, that physical matter, when you start seeing energy move, when you start noticing things flowing in the direction of what you're looking to manifest, you know that you're on the right path. When things are hard, when you're pushing energy, when things are not working out, you know you're not on the right path, and you've got to give it some space. You have to give it space to allow for something else to come in that's actually going to work out better for you. This is where the God's will thing comes in. Because if we are constantly pushing energy and trying to make things happen, it's hard. It's hard because we're not co-creating in those moments. So the God will part of it is really just about the flow, following that flow of energy, allowing the energy to speak to us, and deciding and intending who we want to be, because everything that's happening in your world is a reflection. It's a reflection of what you have going on within. I see this across the board with people who don't feel good enough, who don't feel like they have any friends, they don't feel lovable. They will constantly get evidence of that. People will blow them off. People will say mean things about them, constantly getting evidence of that. And on the flip side, I see people who love life, who are super happy, that are constantly surprised and delighted, that constantly have new friends coming into their life. So it's always, always what you have going on within will be reflected without. Think of the field as your field of potential. Okay, so this is your field of potential. Every day you wake up, you have a new field of potential. And that field becomes the same field as it was yesterday when you pick up on the thoughts you were having yesterday, the fears, the anxieties, the worries. When you pick up on those same things, that field becomes the field of yesterday. And then you are creating in a cycle every single day. If you want to become in your pure potentiality in that field, think about life as, planting seeds. Think of this field as planting seeds. You're planting seeds along the way with every thought, feeling, and belief you have. So what are you planting? Are you planting a beautiful harvest that's going to give you everything you've been asking for? Or are you planting the seeds that are going to actually interrupt the flow of the growth, right? You're not watering the seeds that are actually your pure potential. You're actually doing the opposite, which is introducing your worries, your anxieties, what you don't want to happen. So if you really want to plant the seeds of your potential, you have to get rid of the lack and limitation, which is our human experience. And anytime people get into labels, religions, dogma, belief systems, anytime we're riding those, coattails or, creating from that energy, it actually limits our experience of manifestation because we're giving our power to something else. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be part of a religion. It doesn't mean that you can't, love Jesus. It doesn't mean that you can't, live a good life. It just means that if you really want to open up and receive the information that will help you to expand and grow, being locked into something will keep you creating from the same energy. So it's about letting go. It's about opening up. My experience is that I'm always learning new things. I'm always expanding and growing. I'm always considering other points of view. And if they feel right to me and I get evidence of them, if it makes sense to me, like it resonates in your soul, that's like one of the biggest things for me. If it resonates, this universal law stuff, it resonated in my soul. It made so much sense to me. And I saw so much evidence around me that I couldn't discount it any longer. And it just became the way that I wanted to live and what I wanted to promote and how I wanted to be in my power. If you want to be in your power, understand how energy works. If you want to live from your power, decide, intend, meditate, put yourself in higher states of consciousness and allow yourself to decide what you want for your life and go for it. Activate the energy and go for it. All right, so we're planting seeds, we're engaging with trust and excitement. That's how we water the seeds, is by trust, faith, and excitement. It's not by sitting there being impatient and wondering. I don't think the farmers do that. I think they plant the seeds and they water it and they expect it to come to fruition, right? They expect the seedlings to happen. God, universe, source, whatever you like to call it, is not playing puppet with your life. I know this. I know this in every fiber of my being. I feel very strongly, and this is very much my belief system, that we are an expression of this energy, that we are expressing, and that God, source, universe is experiencing life through us. So the bigger the desires, the bigger the dreams, the more excitement, the more trust, the more faith, the more growth will happen for you. It's not from staying small. It's not from staying safe. It's not from, it's not from reading a book. It's putting yourself in place of the energy field and moving yourself in a direction that feels really good to you. So victim mentality says, I have to rely on outside sources to get what I want. That the God universe is separate from me. That's what I grew up with, maybe what you grew up with, just believing that there was this separate entity outside of outside of us that had agendas for us that didn't necessarily line up with what we wanted in life. And I've seen many people take this stance of victim mentality or being angry with God because their life didn't work out the way that they wanted it to. And a lot of that is because people didn't understand energy and they didn't understand healing, this going within and healing themselves. So they continued to create cycles of misery and suffering and lack and poverty and all of that. So if we're going to actually take our power back, believing that God is a separate entity that plays puppet with my life doesn't really work. It doesn't match up with my belief systems. Not to mention that I have seen so much of this power in my life. I'm like, you cannot make this stuff up. Like, I have seen way too much evidence of what I promote coming to fruition because I trusted, because I had faith, because I put myself in higher states of consciousness. I am in tuned to that energy field and I understand how it works. Now, I can't snap my fingers and necessarily have, something pop up for me. But what I can do and what you can do is start deciding what it is that you're looking to create. So I had a pretty cool thing happen that I'm ready to share. I really am. And it's happening within the next few weeks. And it was definitely a manifestation. And it's, over the course of these last 2 years doing this podcast and getting encouragement from people. Thank you. Love you all so, so much. I have big dreams. I have big goals. I want to take this message everywhere. I want to have a global effect. So a few weeks ago, I got a message from someone on Facebook who's actually local here. And she asked me if I could connect with her. She has some opportunities that she thought I would be really good for, and she wanted to talk to me about it. So we met on Zoom and we had an amazing conversation. She's definitely a new friend, which is great. She said she actually asked the universe for new girlfriends, and I am definitely one of them, and that's so cool. But she invited me to actually do my own show, my own TV show. So I will be launching my own TV show really soon in the next couple of weeks. And I know I'm like, I can't stop smiling about it. I can't sleep at night. I'm just so super excited. So it will stream through E360 TV and a bunch of other streaming services, and I will let you all know how to tune into that. So will the podcast keep going? Yes, for now, the podcast will keep going because I feel like we have reached a depth with each other that I just don't want to leave. And this new show will actually be more about starting from the basics, and very, very exciting, I will be interviewing people as well. So I'm going to be on twice a week on the show. And one of those times, or maybe even two, if I get a real big request for guests. Of course, I have to approve these guests, but I will be interviewing people, which is really exciting. So you can always email me if you're interested in being a guest, and we can see if you are a good fit for the show. There will be a fee involved in that as well, just for the exchange of energy and to help me on my back end. So I feel really, really blessed. But to let you all know, it's been years. It's been 10 years that I've been thinking bigger and going bigger and doing the minutia, doing the things, putting the podcast out, being committed to the show, showing myself that I can do this. And I started thinking about it. I was like, geez, anybody could do a TV show. And I was like, after I thought about that for a minute, I'm like, no, not anybody could do that, because it's a commitment, and a decision to show up, and to not have a fear of being seen. And so that's coming soon. And the name, which I'm really super excited about, is the Goldyn Hour, of course. So we're going to spend an hour together, and hopefully you guys will transition over there and get some good stuff out of that as well. It'll be more expanded. It'll be different. It's definitely going to be different. I mean, it's TV, so I feel like I can do some other things with it, segments and things that will be super beneficial to living your life to the absolute fullest. So, woo, go me. That was a huge manifestation, and one that came on the heels of clearing some doubts and clearing the energy of, what am I doing and why am I doing this? I think I shared a while ago that I was driving and I started questioning myself and I saw a license plate that said, whatever it takes. I'm doing whatever it takes to live this life of passion, to live a life of information that's coming through me. I live such a wonderful life that I want to share with others how I got here and what I did and the thoughts and beliefs that are underneath all of that. So thank you all for being with me. And I hope that you will follow because it's going to be good. All right. So we're moving on. So this is about the full realization of God within. This is about you believing that you are an expression of infinite intelligence, that you have everything that it takes to create worlds, that you have the ability to be this expression of what God experiences in the world. It's taking your power to that new level of true worthiness, of your purest essence of brilliance and love and worthiness and truth. It is about grasping that, even a shred of that, to understand the ability that you have to create in this world and to become more. That's the whole point of all of this. I truly believe and I think that's why, and everybody can do it. You do you, and everybody can believe what they believe. I think the trouble sometimes I have with this lack and limitation and this only believing a certain way is that it really cuts out this life force that is calling you to expand and grow. It just puts so much limitation on the life force that you could be living if you just allowed yourself to receive and you didn't have these hard lines of thinking that caused you to not really live in the infinite potential, live in that field of potentiality. When you believe that some outside source, that you're separate from the energy and expression of all that is, that you are separate from life force itself, doesn't make sense to me. It stopped making sense to me. And that's when I really started to dive deeper. So tapping into and accessing that true nature will help you to clarify your manifestations stronger and to help you to understand why you want them, to understand what they mean to you at a deeper level so that you're not superficial manifesting, but instead you're manifesting from a place of true purpose and fulfillment that allows you to live a life of joy, allows you to live more joy. It's not that complicated and it doesn't need to be that serious, but it does need clarification. It needs you to come up against to face your fears, to face your truths, to face your beliefs in order to transform them into something that feels more like you are able to manifest, that you are really a huge part, a partner in this co-creative relationship. So that's the deeper parts of it. So it's about embodying the energy within so that the world can reflect it outside of you. It's about recognizing that you are this stream of energy and that you have access to infinite potential. And that is it's so easy to forget because we live in the density of life and we often only think that things can happen a certain way and that only what we see is what is. And that's where I think we really limit ourselves because we're not engaging with the non-physical. We're not engaging with higher consciousness when we're so close-minded. So we've got to open ourselves up, open to receive. That's what my abundance challenge is going to be all about. There's going to be some writing prompts and some meditations that are going to help you to clarify, first, understanding that abundance isn't necessarily money and that currency is abundance. And currency comes not just from money. Currency comes from experiences. Currency comes from wonderful relationships. Currency comes from love. So that current in your life, that current of abundance becomes much bigger than just money. And when you initiate with it, when you engage with it, when you connect with it in a different way, it changes everything because you raise your vibration above where your bank account is. You raise your vibration to a place where that abundance can become evident to you. And yes, your bank account becomes part of that process. So it's taking the eyes off the bank account, no matter what it is, no matter what it's been, and it's moving yourself into a place of pure potential, which is where we activate from joy and love and presence and mindfulness. I have been recently really basking in the present moment and really allowing myself to just be here now and not needing things to be different and not pushing energy anymore. There was definitely a time in a place, where I had these doubts about myself and what I was doing and constantly chasing the almighty dollar. And I've got to prove myself and I've got to make money and I've got to contribute. And within the last few months, I've had a huge shift in all of that where I'm just being super present. And I think because of that, I am enjoying life at a different level. The preciousness of life, the people in front of me, the beauty in front of me, the love in front of me, what I have access to. It's so challenging right now in our world because I look around and I just see so many people in their phones, and the phones take us out of the present moment. The phones also are depleting our dopamine. They're absolutely depleting our dopamine. They're giving us a false sense of connection and a false sense of community. Social media is great. I build a business on it. I love it. I love the people out there. I think it's amazing. But I think we're missing a lot of the presence of life because we're in our phones. So pay attention to that. When you find yourself just scrolling, and you've got family members around and you're ignoring them, or friends, really pay attention to that. We had a conversation with a friend yesterday. It was really funny. Somebody that we haven't talked to, oh geez, maybe 20 years, maybe 25, maybe 28. It's been a really long time since we talked to this guy that we grew up with. And he had put something up on social media about, really connecting with people and really having conversations, instead of texting or instead of just a Facebook message or any of that, having a real connection and a conversation. So we ended up having a phone call with him yesterday, and it was great. It was awesome. And it was like 8 minutes. That was the thing that he was like, just an 8-minute call. It doesn't have to be this 2-hour catch up, but within 8 minutes, we kind of caught our lives up and had a great interaction. And it's about that connection that enhances your life, instead of hiding in your house and being on social media and watching TV all the time. It's about getting out there and being with people. I've recently stepped back into networking and just getting out more and actually having friends over more. And I've got to tell you, it is so awesome. Like the laughter and the fun. We had a party here on Saturday night and it was a blast. Like we just had so much fun. And it was about being with people, and it was about being present with people, and it was about just connection and sharing food and laughter and fun. So if you don't have that, if that's lacking in your life, start to ask how you can create that. We got to start from within. We got to start working on that inner story of what you're worthy of. And you've got to put yourself out there. The people are there. I'm finding tribe members everywhere. So they're out there, but you've got to be present to life to actually experience it. So when it comes to manifesting, God is not playing puppet with your life. I am 99.9% sure of that. And am I 100%? No, because what can we be 100% sure of in this life? There's so much that we don't know. There's so much that our human minds cannot grasp that have to do with our spirituality. And that's why I'm so in love with life and creating and expanding and growing. And I don't need to put anything in a box. I don't need to put you in a box. I don't need to put me in a box. I don't need to put a label on anything. I can just be open to receive. And so can you. It's just a matter of going into your heart and asking your heart what it wants to believe, instead of just always listening to the mind and the beliefs and the dogma that you have been taught. It's asking what feels right to you and understanding that you are worthy of that truth, that you are worthy to live your passion, that you are worthy to live from your power, and you are worthy to create anything that is on your heart. The fact that it's on your heart means that you have the wherewithal to manifest it. You just have to work on those beliefs. Anytime you're looking to manifest something and you're having trouble, it's because you got something in there blocking the way. You've got some sort of limitation that you've put in the way, or it's universal timing. So this is the other part of it, because everybody wants everything in their own time, right? We all become very impatient. When I first decided I wanted to move to California, actually, it was Vegas. We actually thought we were going to move to Vegas, and universal timing and where we really wanted to live was not Vegas. So that's the other thing is, we set our sights on something, and sometimes setting those sights is just to get us to somewhere else. Like that Vegas thing was about getting us out west, considering west. And we actually took a trip to Vegas for our anniversary one year. And that's when I decided that I wasn't a desert person. I don't know that I'll ever be a desert person, but we took a trip to California inside that trip. And that's when my view was expanded. And that's when I was like, oh, it's California. It's definitely California. There's the ocean, there's the sunshine. It was 85 degrees in February. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, it's California. So sometimes that desire needs to be clarified. What you think is a done deal, what you think you want, it's just a means to get you to open up to something else. So stay open. Don't be so hard lined on things needing to go a certain way. So the other piece of that is universal timing. When it comes to universal timing, understand the energetic needs time to break down into the physical. The universal orchestration often needs time to bring things into place, into fruition. It's lining things up for you. So forcing things, forcing energy, desperation, all of that stuff works against universal timing and will make the journey a lot harder for you. So it's about allowing, it's about watching energy, it's about receiving, it's about trust. It's about trust. It's about faith. It's about knowing in the every fiber of your being, in the depths of your soul and your heart, that what you want is not only possible, but it's been planted in the infinite field of potential. Pretty freaking cool. I love this stuff. I absolutely love it. So whatever you're looking to create, it can be yours. It may come a different way. So stay open. Watch the energy field for signs. Watch, for opportunities. This comes up all the time in my mind, and I'm probably going to butcher this story, but I always think about this. And it was, it's like some folktale or something about a flood. So there's like major flood, and this guy is praying to God. He needs to be saved. He ends up on the roof of his house because the whole house is flooded and there's water everywhere. And he's on the roof of the house, and a plane flies by. And this guy says, hey, come on, we'll save you. And he says, no, I've asked God. God's got me. I'm good. You guys keep going. So then the next thing, he sees a boat coming by, and the guy in the boat says, come on, we got you. And he's like, no, God's going to save me. God's going to save me. And then, he ends up in the water, and he's like, God, why didn't you save me? And he's like, I sent you an airplane. I sent you a boat. There was like another one too. I sent you all these things and you push them away. So I always think about that because I think about staying open. open to receive, paying attention, being present to life so you don't miss these opportunities. And understand that every invitation is a breadcrumb on your path. So it doesn't mean you have to say yes to every invitation, but it does mean that following the energy will show you the next step. It doesn't mean it's the be all end all. It doesn't mean it's Vegas, it just means it's put in place to open your mind up, to expand it to someplace even better. All right. I love you guys. You can get Mindful Manifestations Daily Secret Guide and Journal on Amazon. That is my latest. Mindful Manifestation Secrets is my first book that shows you how the energy field works. The second book really dives into your belief system. So you want to get that. You want to work on that so that you can start to uncover where you may be blocked if you do feel blocked, and what you need to let go of to actually live this incredibly powerful life of joy, manifestation, freedom, and creating. All right. I love you all. Peace out.